I was gonna get to that. I mean, here's the thing. Now we've got, but here's what happens is, there was a time for it when casinos were great
Right.
and the economy was wonderful. We had a lull for about 10 years. Now we're getting back to Stockton, and we're getting back to, what's the other place, Hard Rock. There's gonna be an explosion down in that area, which is less than a half mile from Ventnor. So we're gonna have that same issue again. I see a resurgence of a lot of renters, a lot of Stockton students, a lot of, that coming back. And maybe people using jitneys as they were in the past.
So you think it's good for that area?
I think it's good for that area.
That's it.
I think it's a mistake to
Okay. So
That's
we have to
just-
change,
that's my opinion.
we have to do an ordinance to take that off? Guess we don't need the signs up.
Well, we're working on that, but all the signs in the first ward in North.
We need new signs anyway.
They had to be
Okay.
replaced. So that was coming anyway.
Okay.
I just think that it was a good idea.
We're trying to be
To
consistent.
try, but then
You lost a lot of parking too
Okay.
for
we
businesses.
lost a lot of parking, and then, oh my God, Stockton's coming, Hard Rock's coming, Atlantic City's got a rebirth happening.
I think
I'll like to sit down with the chief and go over this. We can do it here, but
So there's a lot of, we have a lot of ideas. I talked with Tim and Maria today about our parking lot.
Yeah, that's next.
Okay, so let's go. with
Okay,
that.
so
Let's move on.
Lisa's gonna make a note to rescind this ordinance,
Yeah,
I think it's a smart move.
Okay. okay?
because on top of all the logistic and
I
the
agree.
problems you
I got
have, you're focusing this extra parking in our business districts that we're supposed to be trying to enhance. So I agree with.
But we also have a significant residential population that explodes in a month, 2 months, month and a half. So there's some concern for that too. I don't think this is just something we can, that's why I would like, before we get to the ordinance stage and rescinding it, I'd like, sit down and go over something.
Which is good, but a lot of these houses have off-street parking. They do have driveway. We've checked into this. So we gotta figure out something one way or another, and we just don't want to overly permit park.
Right.
Or permit.
I get it.
Gotcha.
I get the issue, I would like to.
That's fine.
One-on-one and just
Agree.
maybe walk there and show me your issues and do something like that. So-
Okay, so that leads us to the municipal law, and we had some discussion today about eliminating, the jitney parking.
I like Commissioner Kriebel's idea of moving them out to the plaza.
Well, that's what we discussed today, and we think it's a genius idea. I think it's a great.
So it was probably the chief's idea.
It was.
It was actually Deputy Chief who said, who started saying, hey, why don't we do something with that out there?
Right.
I like that.
As do we, but we're thinking of maybe even expanding on that strip of land down on Washington Avenue. It's not only that, but open it up for commercial vehicles that we have issues with, boat parking or RV. I think there's a lot of potential.
Very long Victoria, right? Victoria, that's the
The fact,
construction.
that strip that we own?
Yes,
I got
I
it.
think
Okay.
it's an appropriate use of the city land. Now,
So
in
here's-
those cases, you've got a city lot that is right in the heart of the business district that we want to create more traffic to. And we have an area that is, and it's being used by jitneys and.
And we've never really advertised. We've never put that lot out there. It's just been.
To direct people there.
We need
So
to-
let me, the one concern I have, is the jitneys fine out there, the maid cars, so they can rent spaces from us out there.
Yes.
Where I have a concern is, you mentioned RVs and
We're just throwing some
just,
ideas.
and I know, and it's not a bad idea. Just a caution with that, you tend to get into, it's like a boat yard.
Mhm.
You get into those sorts of things, there's fire issues, there's just.
I don't know, I'm saying some people that are visiting town or something that want to park their RV.
I get it.
I'm looking at, because we really don't have a.
Make sure the liabilities covered, get Mr. McGuire involved.
Yeah, limitations.
I like the idea.
I think right off the bat though, I think we should, the jitneys are up in May.
Yeah,
I think we should not offer that anymore.
Well, I'll offer that there.
I think we do
I
that.
didn't know
Drop
about
in
that.
May, we say that the city is moving the
We gotta add
jitney
some
loads.
structure to it though.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll come up with a sketch, I'll get a
Talk to
plan,
Ellen.
yeah.
I think that'll help us, and that'll open up the 64, 6500 block, who is also seeing resurgence of,
Yeah.
you know, the cafe, the new restaurant that's gonna open up. With the loading zones, we're actually adding a lot of parking to that area. I think it's a great move.
And we're lighting the bike rack, bring people down.
Good.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Next.
I think, is that it on your list?
That's it for
What else is
parking.
my list? I'm kind of here, you know, just sports you guys.
There's street parking requests. Do we know what that is? Or was that the same thing? That anybody's here? Or-
Street parking request?
I know there's some concern from the people in the audience of with the halfway houses that are coming.
We have somebody here.
They were concerned about
Parking.
parking, and I think it might be a good time to talk
Do
to
that
Would you
in
like-
public.
in the public.
We want to do now.
I mean, I'm just saying, while we're here, I think it might be a better idea to talk, just to hear them out, because it might alleviate some of the,
And you're here as our
And
chief?
I am here.
That's, I think, yeah, because you're not staying all night.
unless you want me to, I'm there, and I work at the pleasure of the commission.
Thank you.
I feel safer when you're here.
So, I think that we have 2 residents here, and then this is our chief of police, Doug Biaggi, so he will address your issues. Or some of them. You have to come up and, you have to identify your name and your address.
Okay. Hi, I'm Emily Glickman. I'm at 105 South Richards Avenue, Ventnor. My dad was here earlier. He had to go back to the Conference of Mayors, so he was going to speak in lieu of us in our street. We do have one other member from our street here that wanted to talk as well. Kudos for decreasing the taxes. We're all happy about that, so thank you. Makes us very
We're
happy.
happy to.
And wanted to say thanks to Commissioner Landgraf for giving us your card so we can let you know when we still have trash and buds all over the street from halfway houses. For the parking issue, we have about 15 guys around the clock, you know, basically in and out of that halfway house, beach block at a time. And more than half of them tend to have a car. So obviously in the winter, we know it's not much of a problem. We're empty most of the time. I know I live there full time. I'm a nurse at Atlantic Care, so I'm here every day. And I see how many cars come and go from that house and whatever issues that surpasses we all have noted down. And at this point, come summertime, the people that live on the street, pay taxes, own the house, will not have the availability to come and go as they please. The driveways are not that big. There may be 1-car driveways, some are 2, but it's very hard parking-wise on that street itself. And we would like to have 1 to 2, preferably 2 permits per house, you know, for that street, especially in the summertime. And maybe going 2-hour parking to, you know, for beach block, because you have people that also want to come to the beach and people that live there that want to run errands and come back as well. And if we have permits, we're more likely to find spots, and people that also come to the beach will not have the 2-hour, they won't be able to park there more than 2 hours at a time, if we can enforce that. And, yeah,
Richard.
South
South
Richards.
Richards.
It's a beach walk.
And to limit the halfway house parking situation, because 5 cars for 1 house is a lot, and we pay taxes, and they're there as a courtesy to get better, and we know that they're allowed to be there, but for people that live there and have paid taxes, we deserve something. I mean, every day I walk out and I hear them singing on their guitars and smoking cigarette butts, and I have to smell that every day, every night, all the time, and they're driving fast on a beach block. There's no end. Kids are playing, and the loud music from that. And you know, we have a house that was just bought next to us. When they found out, you know, it's a shame, they have 2 young kids, they just found out it's halfway house. They said if they knew that beach block, they wouldn't have bought beach block there because of that. And we have 2 more houses on that, you know, on that street that want to be sold. And we have 3 people that had come and said, well, what's the deal with all those guys living there? We told them it's a halfway house, and they all got in their cars and left. They don't want to buy on that block. And, you know, being that now that block has been changing, the residents believe that we deserve some beneficial for being beach block.
So, well, you get a benefit because you live in the city of Ventnor, not just because you're beach block. Everybody lives here, they get the same benefits. So that everything else up until there, I agree with you. So, when I live right here, right behind the city hall. When I bought my home, that big house on the corner was, I call it a group home, halfway house, okay. Didn't really cause an issue at that point, and it's been, since been sold twice, people are living there now. We hope that the economy and the people wanting to live in Ventnor increases real soon. We think that's happening with what we do with the taxes, some of the things that are happening in the city. Just bringing things up will make that property more valuable to someone else to come in and buy, a homeowner, not a halfway house or a group home. Be that as it may, the parking issue strikes me a little bit because being generated from the home, there's 15 guys in there, 15 people in there. I'm going to check and see if that's the occupancy limit for the house, because we can do that through code.
Yeah, I think it's 12.
Okay, so we can check that. Two, we can look at, there are limitations. They are allowed to be there, but we can limit the number of vehicles that they can park at the site. We can say, look, all right, these guys are here, that's fine. We appreciate what you're doing. This is the like solutions. Okay. So I can reach out to.
It's one, they're all, they all pretty much have the same rules.
Right, but what we can do is look at, they're allowed to be there, yes, but if they are not supposed to negatively impact the neighborhood in physical ways, the parking, the trash, those types of things that we can look into. I can't promise on the parking, I can tell you we will enforce the trash. If there's an issue with that, I don't mind getting emails. You see, we have C-Click Fix, go to that app on your phone, you can upload that. Every time there's trash there, hit it. And our guys, we get it right to, I get a copy of it, I think the mayor, Mr. Kriebel does, Public Works gets it, Marie gets it. So that's an easy way, you don't have to pick up the phone, it's an app on your phone. Take a picture of it and sends it out and tells you where the address is, geolocates right to the address.
And it helps us keep a record of what.
Exactly,
Going on.
that's what I was getting at, keeps a record of it, so then we can go back to them and say, all right, you're causing us more problem, there's service calls to your home, more and more and more. At some point, we can start charging them for that. We do, police department's allowed to do that too, we don't kind of have that issue here, but Atlantic City does, and they do it. You get over so many calls for one address.
We talked about that with McGuire, looking into the
Exactly.
animal house.
Exactly.
Right.
So there's some options, our hands are tied a little bit, but we will try and work through those issues, understanding that summertime, you're not going to have great parking no matter what. But
Correct.
we can at least try with some of the tools that are at our disposal. I will say that we will try and do that. What's the address of the site, do you know?
What's your house? So 106.
Okay.
We could probably try to sit down with the house elders and see if we can mitigate some of this before it has to get ugly. Let them know where we stand.
Right.
Let them know what the complaints are of the issues, not even complaints, the issues are with the neighbors. I mean, we can work it that way. There's not a lot, they have more rights than
We do.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
we do. And again, a lot of these things we don't know until after they're actually
There's no
in
notice
place.
required, they're allowed to come in and do it. And granted, it becomes somewhat of a detriment to that neighborhood, but I think if we work on enforcing our code, we can make it at least workable in the hopes that in a year, your property values go up enough and the properties of that beach block go up enough that it's more viable for them to sell and buy a cheaper home somewhere else.
I mean, there's, just,
My recommendation would just be, I'm gonna give you my card before you step down. Contact me and our police department. Don't expect to go on social media. I would rather you call us if there's an issue.
Yeah, I
Directly.
haven't gone on social media and I have pictures of kids last summer going in and out of the house.
Well,
Like little kids.
I'll give you a couple cards.
That went
pass
in and out of
around
the house, through the garage,
To the
they get their
neighbors
surfboards
that live
and
there?
everything. No, they don't live there. They're keeping their surfboards in the, like stowed away in that garage or the halfway house. They would go in from the front door or the garage and open up the garage, get their surfboards, go surfing, and come back. And I have pictures dated on my phone from last summer of these little boys.
I'm not sure that's
Going
a
in there.
violation of any, I mean, I'm just,
How can it not be a halfway house and little boys, 8-year-olds, going in and out of a home that's not, like, I mean, the drug house?
right, but a drug house does not
We just
mean
had
a
one
sex
person
offender.
in there.
I know, but I understand, That's not, I mean, there's a stigma that goes,
So
it's already with that.
Look, this is a treatment facility. Calling it a drug house is kind of offensive.
I'm
So-
sorry that is, but unfortunately, honestly, like a lot of people feel that that's what it is. I mean, I understand.
I understand that, but
So
just,
it's a
just
halfway
so
house, it's
you're,
a treatment house.
just while you're here speaking with us,
Okay.
if you could refrain from using that terminology, it's a little offensive to a lot of people, so.
There's a process they have to go to even be allowed in there.
Correct.
They're not a high tier or a violent type of offender, they're not Megan's law offenders. I mean, I think that we tend to, people in general tend to group anybody in any sort of recovery into, and I'm not saying that's what you're doing, I'm just saying that they've got to be somewhere. The people that go to these homes are the better of the best, the people that are trying to make a better
I
life.
respect that they're trying and I want them to.
Right, and I know it stinks that you have a wonderful home there and that there are going to be issues and that you're paying taxes, and I understand that. So I'm offering myself up that if it crosses the line of criminality, get in contact, I'm giving you a direct line to me. My guys will be on top of that. I will increase patrol like we always do in the summer.
You started when I met with all the residents.
Yeah, we did, and I don't think we've gotten any traction on anything. We've talked to them, they're allowed to be there. The car issue is probably something we can do about. I would rather sit down with the house elders or whoever's running the place with them before we make any decision on doing anything. Let's see where we stand, let's find out what the laws are, and work from there, together. And complaint-wise, make the complaints, let us know about them. Send me an email, call me on the phone. My guys are willing to be out there and enforce what needs to be enforced. Building housing the same way, but they know that the walls are thin, that they really are supportive of these halfway houses. So there's not a lot unless they cross that line that we can do. Quality of life issues, I can work on with you, and we'll work on that.
I think, I appreciate that, really, the way you handle that. But I think also, what you said earlier, the so-called animal house could apply throughout the whole city. I've had neighbors that have, every weekend they'll have a bachelorette or a bachelor party, and it's 2 a.m. And I think repeat offenders for those types of things could improve quality of life throughout Ventnor,
Yeah,
regardless
on the
of the
books.
situation of any home.
We're with you on that. So
Yeah.
we're going to enforce and take it to task.
Right.
We hear you.
Thank
We
you.
hear you.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you guys coming out and sitting and waiting a little bit tonight.
But please keep in touch with, you're going to call me up, you're going to talk to me.
Communicate.
And I'm there for you, and it's a simple phone call. My guys will be out there a minute and a half if there's an issue. So we're behind you. Let's just work together to try and make these quality of life issues better. I'm a vet resident, all these people are, so we know what you're going through. We've all had houses like that in our neighborhoods that we've had to deal with. But more often than not, more people there are good people that are working towards a better life. There may be issues and stumbling blocks along the way. Let's be there to deal with it.
Everyone has something black, so we
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 understand.
want them to be good, we just all want to be able to,
Share the piece of the pie and
Exactly.
quality of life. We're with
that's
you.
what we really want,
Okay.
especially when the summer's coming. It's just, in the winter, it's just me, I don't
You
care.
said you're a
if
nurse?
I'm working. Yes.
That speaks volumes of the type of person you are.
Thank
So
you.
we don't think there's any malice in what you said. Like I said, we all want quality of life that's good. So thank you for what you do. We love nurses, so thank you.
Thank you guys for listening.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming.
So, thank you. I'm Judy Klein. I'm also on the same South Richards, and I actually live next door. And thank you. I've never actually been to one of these, so I appreciate.
You gotta start coming. Every summer, every night, every meeting we want to see you here in the summer.
It's good.
It's
It's sharp performing.
Come to our first meeting of the month, you get to see the Doug Biaggi show.
Ah, all right, okay. So, I hear what you're saying, and I definitely am respectful of, folks trying to improve their lives and all that, and, all due respect there. But on our home, every time I've come, there is trash all over the place. And I literally am picking up each week 20 cigarette butts, the covers from the cigarettes.
That's so fixable that, I mean, that is.
I actually
that's-
did take some pictures, so I was interested in your.
See click fix.
Is that right on the Ventnor?
No, it's on an app. You Google it on your app, on your phone.
Okay.
You go to your.
Go to your-
Yeah, my iPhone.
Or the other app is you call Doug, and that's me, and stuff like that, we can handle it quick. I mean,
But it
it is a great, it does document it, I know you guys want to document it, but for something that you want a quick response to,
Yeah,
I mean, that is, we can deal with it. Those are easy fixes
Yeah.
that, you know,
Well,
we
there-
can set up.
That's
But-
an easy one for our code to at least come out there, look at it, and it's red violation.
And
well, I do have the pictures and literally every week, and just yesterday, they're walking by and they stubbed a cigarette right in front of our house, and it's just,
Upload those pictures, use the
I will.
fix.
But you know who else needs them, Doug? I'm gonna interject.
Oh, please.
I got it, I'm gonna interject. You, the people on that street should not have to deal with that, and if you educate yourself in the way a halfway house is to be run, the standards of the residents that live there are supposed to be, the people that are sponsoring them, and how, for them to be able to get in there are very high. What I'm saying is trash, cigarette butts, there's places, there's places in Florida that the residents are not allowed out front, residents of a halfway house or of a facility. Some rehabs, they actually go to one place for treatment, and they live in another place. The place they actually live, they're not allowed out front. They go in the yard to smoke or to talk or whatever. So I think besides code and besides the police department, I think the owner of, not so much the house, because I know it's owned by one person and it's being rented. I think, Doug, we need to contact you-know-who, because if they don't meet the standards and what is expected of them, they will not be allowed to be there. Because part of recovery, the biggest part, is behavior modification. You can be abstinence from drugs or alcohol, but your behavior is a big part. So they shouldn't be putting cigarette butts on, I mean, there are halfway houses all over that people have no problem with, because they actually like help people. They mow their lawn, they do anything, they're very, but if this group is not doing that, then that needs to be handled with the person.
Again, I think we talked about having to sit down with the,
Yes, I think that's where that's where we gotta start.
so I just wanna, also to your point, so that's on our property, and then they are not taking care of that property at all. It used to be meticulous. There is trash all over. They, it's just not taken care
Unless
of.
it's reported to us, I can't do anything about it.
Use that,
So if
use
you
the
see
smart.
click
No,
fix-
I'm reporting it now, but I will upload my pictures and I'll send them in for sure.
Very easy.
See, click.
See, click fix.
I love that.
Yeah, it has to be on a smartphone.
And then,
It's an app, so it has to
the
be on a
other
smartphone.
just quick thing is that they trespass through our house. So like we just put grass in and they just trespass to get to the back gate. So they're, and I know this because we have one of those ring things and it keeps going off as they go. So, and I can see
I'm just
that.
gonna throw something out there, and if my neighbor was doing that, I would go to my neighbor and say.
Right, but I'm not here, I'm just.
I know, but what I'm saying is
remote.
that I don't want people to be afraid to approach these people.
No, I
because-
actually did, when they first moved in, I approached them because the third thing is that they, whenever they're there, they are always on the porch and they're always smoking, and that comes right, the houses are so close. I'm actually allergic to smoke, I can't even sit
My
outside.
daughter's the same way, so.
Yeah, it's,
But again, we'll-
so I did, I called the rent woman and she was so defensive. And I'm like, I was actually just saying, hey, I just want to let you know. But, maybe she gets calls that people are not being so nice, but I'm not calling her back again because,
Okay.
I took that
No, we'll do
courtesy.
that. No, we'll do that. But
Yeah,
I'm just saying, did you try that? You did, obviously.
I did
Didn't
try
turn out so well.
right.
So it gives us a little bit of ammunition, or at least we know what we're walking into. I mean, give me a crack at it, because I
Right, right.
Anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on, and, you know, the summer's coming. You know, I have a young daughter who's a teen. She's been approached on the beach by these guys, and she goes, you know, I live next door to you. And they're like, oh. So it's just, there's a lot of things going into it, and that's why I wanted to come today to really share this with you guys, because,
I'm glad you did, and I'm sure they are too. We all feel the same. We've been dealing with this every time any house comes into the neighborhood. We deal with it, and we deal with it in a respectful manner.
yeah, I mean, nobody is disrespecting anybody. I mean,
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So we're with you on this. We have to know about problems in order to correct them. You're making us aware of them. I know from my end, I'll deal with it. I'm sure we'll contact building and housing tomorrow, first thing. So some of those problems you will see taken care of immediately.
Thank you.
And other ones, it's going to require us to have a sit down with them, and we will,
Okay.
before the season, so it doesn't become a problem.
Okay.
But I can't, the biggest problem is that when you allow things to fester,
Right.
and we have a very open, accessible commission, police, fire, public safety, public
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
I mean, we're really, you call us and we're on it.
Well, I will definitely send it and try to upload those pictures, and I'll keep track of it, but that's why I'm here, and I
And
appreciate
you
it.
have my card now, my
Yeah.
direct office number. I don't have to hide behind dispatchers. Call me, you're gonna get me on the phone, and we'll talk things through, all right?
You were not at the meeting that we had here.
I'm not sure.
You were though, I believe.
My husband might have been.
No, your husband might have, but,
Your husband- Yes.
yes, they were there, and, just so you know, because you weren't there, so, and maybe your husband wasn't there, but I know when the house first was being rented, and the residents on this street were very upset, and I met them all here on a Saturday at 3 o'clock. And we spent 2 hours talking, and I printed out all the laws, how, you know, what protects the people in recovery. I gave every resident that showed up at that meeting my personal cell phone, my personal cell number. So, I mean, we can't do much more.
No, I know, but it's unfortunately now we see the result. I mean, I went in with an open mind,
Right.
and, you know, the fact that I'm cleaning up cigarette butts and smoking.
You shouldn't have to do that.
It's very difficult for us to
Right,
enjoy our
right.
home with all this going on.
Similar to when there's construction going on in your neighborhood.
Right,
They have to maintain that property
Right.
just as much as my code guys went out and
Right.
saying, look, you can't leave your trash. Same thing with residents. And trust me, I will have a conversation with code tomorrow morning
Right.
with regard to that. So-
And you telling us is only helping them, because they're not working their program the right way if they're doing
Right.
things like that.
Right.
So you reporting that to us, or Chief Biagi directly, or code, all that, I mean, then they're not, and maybe some of them don't belong there.
right.
Because they don't, because their behavior is not what it's supposed to be. So it's helpful.
Okay,
Okay.
great, thank you for your time.
Thanks for coming in.
If I could just mention one last thing. You mentioned you're gonna upload photos. I would maybe suggest that you don't upload past photos and do something that, if there's a current thing that, like butts and things like that, at least now you rather than go back into the past, and if you have old photographs, I'm saying,
Yeah.
try to take it from this point
Oh, I mean, if they're
forward.
last week, what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, I mean, if it's
Yeah.
something, how recent are your photos?
Well, I mean, I took some this winter, I think I took a couple.
Let's work collectively. We'll handle those issues that you already mentioned, cigarette butts.
Right.
But as things, and I agree with the
You're
commissioner.
gonna give them you're giving them an opportunity to say, well, that was so long ago.
I see.
So we gotta work from this point forward.
Well, I will go home and take pictures.
Good. And we're gonna.
They will be current.
That's good, that's a better way to approach it.
I agree.
Okay,
Is
HVAC,
everybody done? You good?
we're good? Okay, we'll jump to HVAC at City. Is it you?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Judge.
You're good, thank you.
Sorry you're not chief, you believe would have been. Oh, you too. Everybody wants to be chief.
So this has to do with City Hall's HVAC system. We are looking to hire a maintenance company, so we don't have the continued problems that we do have. We have CM3 as a company that does the library for us. Take care of the job with that so far. Knock on wood. We are, CM3 is on the co-op, so we don't need, we can just hire them. However, Tozer Train installed the system, it's their stuff. So I'm looking for input. What was the price difference for you? Was there?
Yeah, I was just thinking of that.
So we'll have to look at the price, but your thoughts on sticking with one company for all buildings, or this building is very difficult to balance. The system they put in here is one god awful. Why in hell whoever designed this did what they did was god awful.
You think the library people would be?
CM3 is very good at going and doing forensic, finding problems. They found out what the issue was. The library cost us some money to fix it, but we did it. And hopefully it's going to turn on, the air conditioning will turn on when it's supposed to turn on. This year.
Oh, that's hope.
Yeah, so.
36,000 apart?
Yeah, so the system here is very difficult to manage, so it's good having some training because they know the system, but we're still having issues here. It hasn't been that cold for the last month, so it hasn't been much of a problem, but there still is issues with this system, so I'm a little hesitant to go away from Tozer training.
Yeah, I think that was we were looking at two issues, having the same firm do all the city buildings, but at the same time, you were thinking about keeping Tozer trained until the issues are resolved
Right.
here and give them a chance to straighten it out.
Right, I think that's where I'm leaning. We had a meeting here, 2 months ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had everybody, we had a design team, we had Tozer trained, we had Velasquez, the guys who installed it. We had about 15 people in here. And I said, guys, I'm done with this system. If we can't get this working right soon, we will be coming after each of you for this system because it's got off. We spent probably $2 million on a heating and cooling system in this building, and it doesn't work to this day properly. Does everybody else feel the warmth in here? Should it be this warm in here now? No.
I'm hot, I thought it was a hot one.
It's warm in here.
It's hot. It's
So,
warm.
you know,
It is warm in here.
there's an air conditioning system that should keep this room at normal temperature. I've seen you in sweaters on summer days.
Right.
I've seen other people wearing, winter coats inside in the wintertime.
We have little heaters, we had to buy little
Yeah,
heaters.
so that's a system you shouldn't have to do that with. So there's issues with it.
I would agree, I mean, if you're gonna get any satisfaction out of them.
Yeah, I think we'll
so-
stay with them now.
But
Until they
I
figure
would
everything out.
I would also agree that CM3 and the library staff called me just to thank me for CM3 as a new experience. They said they came out,
I don't think they're allowed to call me anymore, so.
they didn't charge, I guess they yeah, right.
They're not.
They're not allowed to call you anymore.
The library was a sore spot for quite a while.
Yeah, they're not allowed to call you.
But they were very happy with their service, and I've done professionally, I've seen every project I've
Yeah,
ever
they do
done
good work.
with
And
them.
they're statewide too, nationwide actually.
Right.
So they're a good firm.
They're also used to dealing with big buildings like Grand Central Station, things like that, that's what they do.
So we'll stick with Tozer now until we get this thing. The latest I've heard is it's a surge issue. And there's a lot of going back and forth between finger pointing and who's dealing with the surge issue. So Cal Electric seems to have a beat on something. We're working towards that. Excuse me. So we'll go with Tozer.
Okay.
I
Thank
think
you.
part of the problem with Tozer is we may get to a point where we have to actually bid it because of the amount of money we spend with them.
If we get to a point where we come to that, I will have a conversation with them because the system still isn't working
Yeah.
from when they built it. So we will, if we're close to that,
Yeah,
then we're gonna have a little come to Jesus meeting.
yeah. So right now, it's going to be a little hard. Maybe we should talk to Kathy because right now, we're at the point where you have to go get quotes with everything that you have to do with it, even if it's just a
And
minor.
that's why we brought it here, so we're
Yeah.
gonna go get quotes from Tozer, but
Yeah.
Ray, if you could
Mm-hmm.
remind me to schedule another meeting with that team again,
Tozer?
because we've got the answers, so I want some answers. Not Tozer, everybody.
Yeah.
Remington Vernon, Tozer, Flask.
How about Ace? Ace, did you get an answer from them? Atlantic City Electric?
No. What we got an answer is there's no surges coming into the building, which we know is wrong.
Uh-huh.
So there's issues once the power gets in here, I think. So Atlantic Electric, all the same people who were at the last meeting, we'll have them come in again and say, what did you find out? We're ready to get into our cooling season, we need to find out what's going on.
Mhm.
The other group that was in that, I can't think of, we have to bring Ed in this time.
Mhm.
That's things.
Mhm.
All right, plant protection strips.
Is that you?
It is me.
Okay.
So
Plant protection.
it's the Pinelands Preservation Alliance, which Mr. Tabaki will understand this. Just the name Pinelands makes you kind of skin crawl a little bit if you worked out there, so it's in anything fast. So I got a call from the Pinelands Preservation Alliance, which is a group that supports the Pinelands as a nonprofit that does good things for the environment. They, through the U.S. Fish and Game and Wildlife, whatever that entity is called, have gotten a grant to come through beachfront municipalities and to do a planting strip. And they're not planting anything, they're just kind of preserving a strip on the toe of the dune, on the ocean side of the dune. From what I understand, from what Jessica, the woman from PPA, came to us and talked twice now about it, U.S. Fish and Wildlife is going to come to all the beachfront municipalities that receive replenishment money, replenishment sand, nourishment sand, and you're going to have to do this at some point down the road. So what she is suggesting is that she take 2 test areas, one north of the pier, one south of the pier, and create an area. We're not going to fence it off, we're not going to do anything, but most likely what we're going to use is a post with a sign and use our new trash can enclosures to keep our rakes, beach rakes, from raking those areas. People are still allowed to walk through there, doesn't stop anybody from using that area for anything, just there's a sign saying, hey, we're trying to let natural vegetation come down that toe a little bit more. The difficulty is the dimension. You can do it by percentage of the beach, or you can do it by distinct distance from the toe to the end of that area where we're going to put the sign. In some instances, it works well for us being percentage of the beach, south of the pier, because the beach is shorter. North of the pier, we don't want a percentage.
Can we pick and choose or no?
We're going to try that. So what I think we've talked about, and Maria and Ed was in on the meeting, Ed Stinson, we're going to set up two block areas that we will not put up these signs this summer and put our trash cans there so we don't rake those areas. And he probably won't rake most of the beach, but he's going to definitely not, let's say most of the beach, the lateral length of the beach. He won't go within 10 to 15 feet of that toe with the rakes.
The whole beach.
The whole beach. But we're definitely not going to do it right in these certain spots.
That's what
There'll be a couple of exemptions. They call it a plant protection strip. It allows more vegetation to grow at the base of the dune to protect that dune.
Right. Instead of scattered.
Exactly.
I got you.
So there's one or two areas that we're not going to definitely do that. One is where the volleyball courts are by the pier. They will rake those areas that we keep clean. And there was one other, I think it was, might have been headquarters. So I think it was close to the county, those guys. So that's it. So we're gonna let them come in and do 2 test strips, but want to get your input on it. For what there's some benefit to it beyond preserving the dunes. If we do this voluntarily, it can help us in the long run. Other towns are going to get forced to do it, and there could be, at some point, there could be issues with them having forced impact of even 25% of their beach being.
We're going to volunteer.
That's
I
right.
think we should volunteer.
So it could lessen the amount that is actually on.
Exactly.
Forced on. Yeah, I think-
Cooperate a little bit. There's one way.
Yeah.
Do you think we should have chain wire or something when it comes to it?
Yeah, I think so. Well, maybe the next meeting we'll invite him to,
Yeah.
and Jessica's, she's very, not aggressive, is the wrong word.
No.
Committed.
Passionate.
Passionate. It's a good word. So, and I met with her boss, the one who's the director of PPA, the last time we met. So,
It makes sense.
yes, it can.
I mean,
I'm a little
look prettier.
concerned. I'm a little concerned about
North
down by the library.
Yes.
Right.
Sounds-
Because that beach gets high tide, it gets out. So, and there's no ropes, there's nothing to keep people out of it. It's just, we're not going to continue, you're not going to rake it on a daily basis. That will allow this vegetation to come down. So, just want to give you guys an update on that. Did I cover most of that? Maria, is that?
Yes. Yes, Ed was going to talk with his people not to rake it. We're
Yes.
going to start raking.
Yeah, we're going to
That's what I
stop
was just
down.
thinking about.
We
yeah.
start, I think we start in the next 2 weeks while the rakes, we're waiting for new time.
Because it's the tides in the fall that seed. And
Spring
then-
too. Yeah.
In the spring too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It brings the seeds in from other areas where it erodes it and it can bring those up.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's the plan.
Okay.
I think that's done for discussion, that was a long
I think
discussion.
it's done for discussion. I think I need a 5-minute break.
Okay.
I need, if you don't
Motion
mind.
for a 5-minute bio break.
Do I have a second?
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're gonna take a 5-minute break, we'll be back.